and I spent a lot of my time at the public library. It was one of the few places my mother would let me go on my own. And I actually wrote poetry and short stories before I started writing songs. So, and I think it wasn't, I never had made this conscious decision, no, now I'm going to write songs.
Contrary to the opinions of others, I don't think I'm cool at all. I definitely didn't grow up thinking I was cool. I was popular, but not because I was cool. Probably because I had a certain amount of independence.
Actually, the record company was strongly urging me to consider it, but I just I feel like there's already so much to do, you know, just in going through life.
Have you ever wondered why Tracy Chapman and Lauryn Hill suddenly disappeared from the spotlight? These queens were ruling the charts 1 minute, then poof gone the next. It's almost as if they saw something they weren't supposed to see, and Hollywood hit the mute button on their careers. But what if it wasn't just bad luck or burnout? What if these powerhouse singers knew too much about the dark side of the music business and got shut down for trying to speak up? Let's dive into this and spill some tea that might just change the way you look at your playlist. Tracy Chapman's story is nothing short of incredible. She started out playing her guitar on the streets of Cambridge, Massachusetts, busking for spare change. Can you believe it? This queen was sharing her raw talent with passersby before she became a Grammy-winning superstar. Her big break came when a music executive spotted her playing at a coffee shop. One moment she's on the streets, the next she's signing a record deal. But don't think for a second that her journey was all smooth sailing.
His father's in the music business, would come to some of my concerts and had seen me play at various places. He offered to help me make a demo tape. And the short story is that they did offer me a production deal, which then led to the...
It seemed like overnight that Tracy Chapman went from singing on the streets of Harvard Square to winning 3 Grammy Awards in 1989. Her debut album sold more than 10 million copies. Critics have called her one of the most socially relevant songwriters of our time after a couple of years of laying low.
Lauryn Hill, on the other hand, took a different path to stardom. She started out as part of the Fugees, making waves with their unique sound that blended hip-hop, reggae, and soulful melodies. But it wasn't until she went solo that her career truly skyrocketed. Her debut album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, hit the music scene like a thunderbolt, earning critical acclaim and smashing records. Suddenly, everyone was talking about this fierce, talented woman who could sing, rap, and write like nobody's business. Lauryn wasn't just making music, she was making history.
A complete blessing that there were people, not only in New York, Manhattan, Brooklyn, the Bronx, New Jersey, who appreciated our music, but people out here in Amsterdam, you know, people in New Zealand, and Australia, and Africa were buying records from the Fugees.
These ladies were on fire, breaking records and winning hearts all over the world. Tracy's fast car and Lauryn's doo-wop, That Thing, blew up, catapulting them to a whole new level of fame. But behind those million-dollar smiles and chart-topping hits, something darker was lurking. Tracy faced relentless pressure to change her image, to become more marketable and fit the industry mold. As for Lauryn, the music industry wasn't exactly kind to strong-willed black women who dared to speak their minds. What happens next will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about their stories, so buckle up, because this ride is about to get real. Hold up, why all thought Tracy Chapman and Lauryn Hill were just living it up in the spotlight? Think again. These two icons were getting a first-hand look at the dark side of fame. Behind the glitz and glamour, they were dealing with intense pressure to change everything about themselves. Rumors were flying left and right, and some seriously sketchy characters were pulling the strings behind the scenes. When these queens started asking the hard questions, things got messy real quick. They began hearing disturbing whispers about what was really going on in the industry, rumors that could make your skin crawl. But instead of staying silent, they kept pushing for answers, and as you might expect, the top music execs didn't appreciate that one bit. Suddenly, Tracy and Lauryn were getting cold shoulders and side eyes from the same people who once worshipped them. Tracy quickly realized the industry didn't know what to do with a strong black woman who refused to fit into their neatly packaged RB box. She even said, "I think they do a disservice to their audience by only presenting certain types of music." These were women who couldn't be boxed in, and the industry didn't like that one bit.
You know, I don't even think that folk singer is really relevant either. There were all these people who were trying to tie me to, you know, the 60s and 70s folk singers. And I like a lot of that.
Why all? It wasn't long before things took a wild turn for these ladies. One minute, Tracy Chapman and Lauryn Hill were the golden girls of the music industry, and the next, radio silence. Their phones stopped ringing, and all those big shot execs who used to blow up their lines ghosted them faster than a bad Tinder date. But that was just the beginning. Tracy's new album faced delays, and Lauryn's big comeback tour got canceled. And let's not even get started on the classic creative differences excuse that kept popping up. It was like the whole industry had decided to play dirty, and our girls were caught right in the crossfire. On top of all that, the media wasn't doing them any favors. Headlines began painting Tracy and Lauryn as difficult and unstable, a proper backstab if there ever was one. And Lauryn's situation? Whew, it was especially messy. Word on the street was that Columbia Records dropped a cool $2.5 million on her sophomore album, and things were spiraling fast. But things just kept getting weirder. Lauryn Hill wasn't backing down, she kept pushing back in studio sessions, and it started rubbing people the wrong way. Before long, collaborators were dropping like flies, frustrated by the chaos. And as for Tracy Chapman, they did this queen so dirty. She went from selling out shows to practically vanishing from the public eye. Her last big performance before 2024 was way back in 2009. That's a whole 15 years of silence, why all? It was like the industry hit the mute button on her career, and no one could figure out why. And trust me, it wasn't over yet. To really understand what went down, we've got to rewind a bit and look at the root of Lauryn Hill's struggles, the Fugees drama. That's the key to unlocking this whole messy situation.
A lot of people blame me for what has become of Lauryn Hill. And the fact that she's not out and about in the music industry. If you've read this far, you have to understand she and I had a very complicated relationship, and I take my blame, I'll take my blame for my side of the pain and confusion. No doubt my marriage hurt her, but the fact that she more or less left music behind can't be explained that simply.
Lauryn Hill and Wyclef Jean had this wild, complicated dynamic that went way beyond music. It wasn't just about their work as groupmates in the Fugees, there was a whole lot of love, jealousy, and straight-up mess involved. See, Lauryn and Wyclef had this intense on-again, off-again relationship that was messier than a toddler with finger paint. And here's the kicker, Wyclef was married the entire time.
He talked about how him and Lauryn Hill kind of had there was like a love triangle. It was him, his wife, Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
And he mentioned that Lauryn Hill got pregnant.
Okay.
Did you know about all this happening?
Man, I was counting my money, man, to be honest with you.
Can you imagine the drama that caused behind the scenes? It was like a full-blown soap opera, except this one came with platinum records and Grammy Awards. The tension within the group was off the charts, and it didn't take long for it to spill over into their music and eventually their careers. But it wasn't just about the love triangle, there were some serious power struggles brewing within the Fugees. Rumor has it that everyone wanted to be the star, and nobody was willing to play second fiddle. Lauryn Hill's rise to fame was meteoric, and you know that didn't sit well with the others.
You guys are still close. Did she tell you why she stopped making albums?
She just felt uninspired.
That's it.
That's it.
Jealousy is a nasty thing, why all? Tensions kept escalating, and before long, the cracks in the group became too big to ignore. It wasn't long before the Fugees broke up, leaving behind a legacy of hits and a trail of drama that's still talked about to this day. After the split, Wyclef and Pras went their separate ways, but they didn't exactly treat Lauryn right. Wyclef was out there doing his solo thing, but he wasn't showing Lauryn's music the same love she had given him. As for Pras, well, let's just say he wasn't exactly in Lauryn's corner either. All this drama laid the foundation for Lauryn's big fall from grace. She was grappling with heartbreak, betrayal, and an industry that seemed to be turning its back on her. With all of that weighing on her, it's no wonder things started going downhill. But wait, y'all, there's a twist in this story that nobody saw coming. In a 2005 interview, Lauryn Hill dropped a major bombshell. She called her experience with the Fugees a conspiracy to control, to manipulate, and to encourage dependence. That's some heavy stuff that makes you wonder what was really going on behind closed doors. Lauryn also quit the Fugees, later saying that the group was a conspiracy in every sense of the word.
And I take it you're not someone who, particularly enjoys being out in the public eye apart from your music.
Yeah, I'm not much drawn to the limelight.
we don't see you in the tabloids, for example.
I hope not. That's a doppelganger if you do see one. So, kind of stressful for a person who likes to be pretty private, and you know,
And the drama ain't over yet. Just last year, in 2023, Pras hit Lauryn with a lawsuit. He's accusing her of fraud and trying to take too much money from their reunion tour. Lauryn says it's all lies, but this just shows how deep the bad blood goes. What actually went down between these two that has them pitted against each other this much? This is a classic tale of love, betrayal, and the ugly side of the music industry.
you know, had an opportunity then to make the second and the third record, which in some people's minds didn't do as well as the first record. And, you know, I just felt like
Why all think Lauryn had it rough? Wait until you hear about Tracy Chapman. While Lauryn was tangled in all that Fuji drama, Tracy was fighting her own battles. The music industry bigwigs were trying to turn her into something she wasn't, trying to mix up her image, but Tracy wasn't having any of that nonsense. Tracy straight up told them that being in the public eye and under the glare of the spotlight was, and still is to some extent, uncomfortable for her. She stayed true to her roots and wasn't about to change who she was just to sell more records. That kind of integrity is rare these days. Tracy wasn't about to let the industry mold her into something she wasn't, and she made it clear that she would rather stay authentic than chase fame at the cost of her values. But standing up for herself came with a price. Tracy refused to play the celebrity game, and the industry didn't like that one bit. She tried to keep making music her way, dropping her second album, Crossroads, but it didn't blow up as much as her first one. The industry folks started whispering that maybe Tracy was losing her touch, but we know better. Tracy wasn't losing her touch, she was staying true to herself in an industry that often rewards conformity over authenticity.
Billboard chart and earned 5 Grammys, including Album of the Year.
How long is it going to take for this to sink in?
I don't know yet, but I'll let you know.
Hill disappeared from public view after the Grammys.
Tracy Chapman, but our girl Tracy didn't back down. She kept making music her way, even if it meant fewer albums and smaller shows. In one of her rare interviews, she said she has an understanding of the fact that the music she's making doesn't fit their format, and they're not willing to make a place for her. Can you believe she had to explain herself like that? She stood up for what she believed in, but at what cost? Was it worth it? Why, all remember when Lauryn dropped The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill? That album was straight fire, selling over 400,000 copies in its first week.
These are brand new songs that very few people have heard. Very much about, you know, what I've been going through and what I've been learning. A lot of wonderful life lessons. Talk people in my head too. It's all right though. Let's just warm up a little bit. Finish sucking my lozenge. And this particular song is called Mr. Intent.
Everyone thought Lauryn was going to rule the music world forever, but then things got weird real quick. People were suing her left and right, saying she didn't give them credit for helping with her album, and then the rumors started flying about her having some kind of breakdown.
Named Brother Anthony came into her life. Brother Anthony was a spiritual guide to Lauryn, and she spent several hours at his feet ingesting pure scripture. Some of Lauryn's closest friends, however, were not too fond of Lauryn's new companion.
But the real shocker came in 2001 with the MTV Unplugged album. Why all? It was wild. Lauryn said that the album depicted the things she had been going through, all the struggles and all. In the outro, she says that she is crazy and deranged, emotionally unstable. People didn't know if she was for real or if this was some kind of artistic statement. Either way, it had everyone talking. Lauryn started saying some pretty cryptic stuff about the industry too. It's like she was trying to tell us something but couldn't come right out and say it.
Yeah, she's late. She's late to late. Yo, y'all lucky I make it on this blood rise stage every night.
Then there's the whole mess with Brother Anthony. Some people say he was Lauryn's spiritual advisor, but others were calling him a straight-up cult leader. Word is, he made Lauryn cut ties with pretty much everyone in her life, her management, her friends, even her family. It's like he pulled her away from the music world and into some kind of isolation.
Music is very powerful, and it does have the ability to inspire people, to motivate people, to educate people. For all those reasons, it can be used in a social or a political context.
And let's talk about those shows she did manage to put on. Girl was always late, sometimes by hours. Fans would be waiting forever, and when she finally showed up, the performances were hit or miss. People were calling her a diva, saying she didn't care about her fans. She tried to explain herself in 2016, saying they don't show up late for shows because they don't care. Rather, the challenge lies in aligning their energy with the time. Now, that might sound like some new age nonsense to some of y'all, but what if she was really struggling with something deeper?
Lauryn Hill will be embarking on her 25th anniversary tour for her debut solo album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Okay, and not just that, the Fugees will be reuniting and opening up for the U.S. dates of this show.
Tracy Chapman and Lauryn Hill might have stepped back, but their impact is louder than ever. And y'all, the tea is hot on how they're still changing the game. You might think Tracy and Lauryn are old news, but their influence is everywhere. New artists are picking up right where these queens left off, taking that same fearless energy and running with it. It's like they passed the torch, and now a whole new generation is lighting up the industry. Yep, people can't get enough of their old music. It's like everyone suddenly remembered how fire Tracy and Lauryn's tracks were. New fans are discovering them for the first time, and old fans are falling in love all over again. It's a whole revival, y'all. And when Tracy and Lauryn do show up, it's like the whole world stops. Lauryn's been out there celebrating the 25th anniversary of The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and fans are losing their minds. They're selling out shows left and right, even with all the drama about Lauryn being late. Lauryn Hill will be embarking on her 25th anniversary tour for her debut solo album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and not just that, the Fugees will be reuniting and opening up for the US. Dates of this show. It's clear as day that Tracy and Lauryn are still sending a message, even when they're not saying a word. Their music is still out there, still hitting hard. Tracy's songs are getting covered by all kinds of artists, from Sam Smith to Justin Bieber. And Lauryn, her lyrics are still making people think, still challenging the status quo. She's been an icon not just for her sound, but for the messages she's put out there, speaking truth to power and addressing societal issues. Her impact goes beyond just the music, it's the way her words still resonate and inspire change. Even with everything she's been through, her art continues to spark conversation and encourage new generations to stay true to themselves and question the world around them. Tracy Chapman and Lauryn Hill left their mark on the music world, and it ain't going away anytime soon. They showed us what it means to be true to yourself, to speak your mind, and to make music that matters. Their legacies are a reminder that artistry isn't just about the industry, it's about staying authentic, pushing boundaries, and making a lasting impact. That lesson is still ringing out loud and clear, inspiring generations of artists and listeners alike, even all these years later. Their influence is timeless, and their music continues to speak to the soul. What a wild ride through the dark side of fame with Tracy Chapman and Lauryn Hill. These queens saw things in the music biz that would make your hair stand on end, but their stories aren't just ancient history, they're a reminder that behind all the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, there's some seriously shady stuff going down. So what's the lesson here? Don't believe everything you see on those fancy award shows. The music industry's got more secrets than your messiest group chat. If you like this video, stay tuned for more intriguing stories where we'll continue to expose the mess lurking in the shadows of Hollywood. You won't want to miss it.